Dan struggled as he flew through the strong wind. Storm clouds were gathering above. Today was the day he had planned to visit Carly and ask for forgiveness. He had planned to give her a flower and ask her to go out with him again, better this time. But he had already lost the flower, and now he wasn't sure he'd make it there today. His wings felt so tired. Dan flew over to a nearby tree and perched on one of its branches. He'd have to wait the storm out. Just as he started to drift into sleep, Dan heard a loud cry. He startled awake. It sounded like an elderly bird. Looking around, he spotted an old male bird struggling to get away from a cat. The cat had him pinned. Thunder crashed and rain began to pour. Dan could see the cat was about to eat the old fellow. "Hey, Catsy Clippity cat," Dan called out to the cat. Dan knew, as did everyone, that calling a cat Catsy Clippity was the same thing as insulting them grievously. The cat looked up immediately. He let the elderly bird go and hissed at Dan. The elderly bird flew away as quickly as he could. "What did you say?" the cat asked Dan with anger. "Catsy Clippity," Dan replied without fear. Without fear, because this cat was on the ground and he was in a tree. He could fly away before the cat could even get close to him. Suddenly Dan heard a hiss behind him. Another cat, in the tree with him? The cat on the ground meowed with delight. "Attack!" "My pleasure," the cat behind Dan hissed. Dan tried to fly away, but the cat grabbed him. The cat was black, with a large scar over his left eye. Dan shrieked as loudly as he could. The cat opened his mouth and bit down on Dan's feathers. He pulled some feathers out, but did not yet break the skin. Dan thought with terror these would be his last moments, but suddenly lightning struck the tree branch they were on. The cat let go of Dan as they fell to the earth. Just before he reached the ground, Dan came out of his shock, and with all of his strength he flew away. He flew towards Carly's place. Even though he was sure he looked a mess, he needed to get somewhere safe fast. When he arrived, he was surprised to see Carly standing over the elderly bird he had rescued earlier. She was treating his wounds, and the elderly bird was talking weakly to her as she did. They stopped talking when they saw Dan. Then Carly wrapped Dan in a big hug. "You truly are a handsome cardinal now," Carly cooed. "Thank you so much for saving my grandfather's life." Dan blinked. "Her grandfather?" "Of course. And would you go out with me again?" he asked. "Yes," Carly replied happily. Dan hugged her tight. The end.
Chickens, chickens, chickens. And they're actually not as dumb as I was saying, according to the book. They can learn how to skateboard. They can play baseball. They can play tic-tac-toe.
When you want to get off the darkest ground, but gravity pulls you straight down. Earth from a bird's eye view. You should grow feathers and see this too. When you want to get off the darkest ground, but gravity pulls you straight down. When you want to get off the darkest ground, to get off that darkest ground. But gravity